Hello everybody, this is Carol from Friendly Quail, here for Try Something New Tuesday. Thanks for joining me today, and let's get going. I'm going to just show you first of all what I'm going to be making. These are dangles. They have little music paper inside of laminated plastic. And I just did a couple of them with lace and some dangles. And you can hang them on tabs and things like that. So this was something that I saw on Artie Mays, and I will link her video below that I watched in order to do this. So these are just some of the ones. I only finished a couple of them. And we're going to be making them in steps. Now, I'm going to end up with a whole bunch of them. It would probably be enough to use the whole rest of the time I work on journals, but I also give a little something along with, like a little gift along with, sorry about that, when someone buys something from my Etsy shop. So I'll probably use some of them for that. Now, Artie Mays used two different things. She used some really tiny little laminated pouches that would be like for a card to go in, like an identification card or something. And she used some plastic on a roll that she only put the plastic on one side. It was like, she didn't put it on both sides, just on one side. Well, I bought these to try, and this is what it is. It's a Scotch self-seal laminating pouch. I got it at Hobby Lobby, 5 of them, almost $10, so it's like almost $2 a piece for this. And I tried one, and I did find I can't get them real close together, just because of the way that I do it. You can't have them touching because you need a little room in between to cut it out. But I wish I could have gotten like 2 rows in here, but it's a little difficult, as you'll see. I'm not sure that I would buy this again to do it, but I'll show you that when we get to it. So the first thing you need to do is cut out your little shapes. Now, I started with this. I had some of these. This was, and sorry, but I can't even tell you whose it is. I could search for it, but I didn't look it up. This was, it might have been Tracy Fox or somebody like that, because that's the only ones I bought when I was first doing it. But these were like little miniature tags. And so I cut some music paper and put it behind this, so that when I cut these tags out, I would have more than one. So I have them paper clipped along one edge, and I'm just cutting along the edge of this little mini tag. And that's what happened. I went a little crooked. Okay. Now this works if you don't have any little mini tags, so it's actually easier to do it another way. But I'm going to just finish cutting out this one row here. Like I said, I only have it paper clipped on one end, and I have about, I don't know, 5 papers underneath. And then what I did is I cut, I'll let that stuff drop on here because I can clean it all up a little later. I cut my angle for the little tag. I didn't quite get this close enough here. And then across the bottom, and I'm holding it the whole time, so I'm holding all of those layers together. So now I've got one of those and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 music ones. Now doing it like that, sometimes you get it where there's not a lot of music on it. You can decide if you want to discard those or use them. Some of them I used because I put other things on top of it, like lace and that type of thing. And it works to do it that way. I mean, you don't really see the music on it necessarily. So I'll just cut another one out here, and then I'll show you how to cut them if you don't have anything like this, which is actually easier in some ways. Okay, so this is some of those. Now that gave me a certain size, and it works. It works, but you can also just do it on paper. Like I've got some nice, yummy colored music paper, very old music paper, and if you do it about 1 1/8, somewhere in there, that's somewhere like that is a good size. So I'm measuring from here down, and I'm cutting a piece of that paper, and then I'll cut another one, and this one will have some words on it. This one will probably just be a couple of the rows of music. And if I start getting too much where there's nothing in it, I just cut a little bit off. This cutter works really good even on old paper. Some don't. It got a little bit of a fringe on there. All right. A lot of that will be cut off anyway. Okay. Now, the rest of it I actually do by hand. It's easier than trying to work with a little one. I have smaller, like a guillotine cutter and things like that. But if I kind of line these up, because these were all from the same paper. Yeah, that's why that was sticking out. These were all from the same sheet of music paper. So I just kind of line them up, and then I cut them. So I'm just eyeballing. It can be, because they don't all have to be the same. This is like maybe 3/4 of an inch or something like that. And then I'm just going to cut off the ends. And I'm tilting them, and I'm just eyeballing that. And I've got my tags all cut from this type of music paper. So I'm just cutting across, hanging on, and cutting a little tag shape on the top. Now you can cut these little, deeper. I don't cut them all the same. So, you know, it doesn't matter whichever way you want to do it. All right. And even if some of these get a little smaller or a little wider, doesn't matter. Get yourself clipped a little bit. Now, if this was a big tag, I'd be measuring the other side, but it doesn't seem to cause much of a problem. It looks pretty good no matter what. And I'm just eyeballing again. To me, this is the easiest way to do it, is to cut them by hand. And I do like this yummy color better. But it depends if you're doing grungy journals or if you're doing spring-looking journals. It's going to be different what you want. And that same thing will go for what you put with these, because you don't use them by themselves. You use them with lace and dangles and these are dangles, lace, what do you call them, charms, pieces of fabric, whatever you want. You put that on there. Okay, and I'm going to cut one more. I left the margin on this side so that I could cut this part. I'll throw away, recycle. Again, make them whatever width you want. I have some of mine are wider, some are not narrower, you know, and that worked out okay. Now, I also, it depends on what you want on the back. Like just putting the music paper, if it has music on both sides, I think it looks great. But you could like glue some on a piece of, this is a lightweight cardstock, and then do the same thing. I glued these on last night so that the glue would dry and I could cut easily with it. And now these will be music on one side and brown on the other. I don't know that you need to necessarily do that, but you can, depending what you're using, what paper you're using. If you have paper that's good on both sides, you don't have to do that. But if you want to use some kind of paper, maybe not music paper, but some other kind of paper that doesn't have a pretty side, go ahead and put it on a little piece of cardstock. So now this is the hard part. And I'm going to do a few rows and show you how I kind of came up with doing it. And then I'll go to the next step. Now, this is thicker, heavier. And this is the side, it's thinner, and it has a sticky on it. This side has no sticky. So you need to be careful how you do this. And that's why when you cut them out, you have to have a little bit of the plastic around it, because this sticks to this plastic. And if you would cut it right along the edge of the paper, nothing would keep it together and that one piece of plastic would fall off. It would still have the sticky side on, but the other side would fall off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take and line some of these up, giving myself enough space to cut in between them, so I have a little bit on each side. This row I didn't cut the second side very well. Let's go back in and fix it up a little. let's see. I'm hoping I can get like 7 of them. Now this starts to unroll, and you need to take this strip off. Okay. And what I did is I just started rolling this onto these. Until I get them caught under there. So they are now caught underneath the plastic. And you have to press the plastic. You can wait and do all the pressing at the end. It works to do that. I'm just kind of pressing along the sides of them, because if I wait, do it too much, I'm going to get them farther apart. And then I'm going to just put another row on here. I think I figured this out kind of near the end when I did the other one, and it seemed to work a little bit better than what I had been doing. And it doesn't matter if they're a little wonky in here, as long as you have a space to cut out around them, so you have a little bit of a border of the plastic around them. If they go a little crooked, doesn't matter, because you're just going to cut them out and then they'll look straight. It is going easier today doing it this way. What I did last night wasn't the easiest. Okay, now I'm going to roll some of that on there. Okay. And like I said, I'm going to finish smoothing it all down when I finish all of it. And I'm going to keep going and just do this whole thing, if you can bear with me, because it's hard to stop in the middle. And I don't want to waste any of this since it's $2 a sheet. Okay. Hope everyone's doing well. I got to go out to lunch today. The community I live in, we have a ladies out to lunch once a month. We went to a nice place and had lunch. There were 29 of us out there today, I think. I live in a 55 plus community, and it's really nice. These are some of those that I have the brown on the back. They're a little more sturdy. I can't get it too close because I have to be able to have a little rim on both sides. Doesn't matter if you go upside down. This one's kind of wonky. That whole row probably was. I'll fix them up. I have some more sheets left. All right. I'll roll a little bit more till I catch them. All right. I'll do another row. Yeah, I'm doing a better job of it today. Just trying to figure out how best to use it, and I tried a couple. Oops, this is 2 of them. Tried a couple of them, a couple of ways, and this is what I came up with that worked the easiest, at least for me. another roll, so now I can unroll a little bit more. You can get quite a few, even though this is $2 a sheet. I'm going to get quite a few of these out of it. We'll count. I got 7 in a row, but we'll count how many rows. Figure out what that's costing me to do. I'm trying to think of what the other stuff is called that it's almost, well, there's a word for it and I can't think of it. You know, like tacky paper or something like that, but that's not it. Kind of moved them farther away. We want to get them caught in there. Even if you don't have it caught all the way, as long as you have them caught enough, you're going to finish it later. And I don't, in the sticky part, it doesn't go to the very edge either. Let's see if I can get 2 rolls in here. I do need some space to cut between them. Don't forget that, or they'll fall apart. This real skinny ones fit on okay. I won't cut all these out with you on here. I've got a few cut out from the other one, but I'll show you how to do it. So I think that this will be something that I'll attach on. I usually give some type of a dangle and some type of a snippet. I'm going to turn this a little bit. I want to make sure, because I can't see what I'm doing. Alright, got to push these over yet. There we did. Okay, so now I've got all these in here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 56. I'm doing my math right. Now you make sure that you go around the edges of them. I'm kind of rubbing the edges down on all of them. If it's a little wrinkled in between, no biggie, because you're going to cut that away. But you do have to kind of get them nice and pushed down in between. I'm pushing on that. Make sure the sticky is all the way onto those papers. Go in between all of them. Now I notice that for sometimes that there's a little bit I can see a little bit where the plastic isn't totally down, but it's usually down enough that it's catching. It's just because there's a thickness in there that you can see a little bit, but it works because I haven't had any of mine fall apart or, you know, come out where they're not together. Okay. So that's what you do. Sorry about the noise. I don't see this one down very well right here. That's a thicker one that has paper on the back of it. This is where I think her doing it with those little tiny ones would be easier, but she could only get about 4 on a little piece. So if you're careful, you can use the bigger one and it'll work. Okay, now I'm going to go on this side. Now this side is the hard plastic. And so what I'm just making sure is that the soft plastic on the other side is sticking to the hard plastic, kind of burnishing it down. But the other side is actually a little more important because this is not sticking to the paper at all. This is only sticking to the sticky part in between the paper pieces. Once you've got that done, then it's time to start cutting them out. I'm going to cut between a row, but it might not be straight enough. I might have to go in and cut a little bit differently once I get this row off of here. And of course, you could cut little or big. And then I'm just going to cut them apart like this. Now, if you watch Artie Mays, you're going to see that when she cuts the holes, or puts the holes in them, she puts a little eyelet in it. Well, I did that for a few of them, and then I stopped doing it because the plastic is stiff enough that you don't need an eyelet. It's not going to rip out. And the eyelets that are that small size, for some reason, the ones that I have anyway, they splay out really bad on the back. Now this stuff can be a little sharp. So like these corners on the bottom, I just clip the point off because then it doesn't hurt you. And as long as this doesn't open up, you know you did it right. Okay, I'm going to cut a few more out. And, you know, you could even round the corners all the way around if you wanted to, but the whole thing is to make it look kind of like a little tag. Okay. I'm going to cut the sharp points off, make sure none of it's sharp. Just clip a little bit of that off if it is. You don't want to cut yourself or someone else. All right, I'll do like one more and then we'll go the next step. This would be nice to do when you're either crafting with someone else, talking, or watching television. This part, once you've got the plastic on them, it would be easy to do the cutting but you have to do it where you can catch all the schnibbles of plastic. Okay, let's see. Maybe I'll cut a couple more just because I have some other things to show you. Now, if you've watched me for a while, you would know that I have a basket full of small pieces of fabric and lace that when I have things left over and it's not big enough to wrap up and put away, I put it in that basket. So I have a huge basket of little pieces of fabric and lace and that type of thing. And I use that for making snippets. I can mass make a whole bunch of snippets at a time. I have a video doing that, but it's probably from a couple of years ago. You'd have to go back and look. If you really want to see me do it again, I can do it again, but it's already there. And it's something that I pulled some things out of for the next step. Well, the second after this. The first next step is cutting the holes. Now, I tried with, I have a little punch, just like a regular paper punch, and it didn't work very well to cut through this plastic. My Crocodile worked great. So I've been using my Crocodile to cut the holes in these. All right. Okay. All right. I gotta get these out of here because they don't have plastic on them. These all have plastic on them. I'm going to put this to the edge so I can get it off without it going onto my table underneath. And, okay, in the garbage with that. Okay, back that back up. Now, I use a small hole in the Crocodile, the 1/8 inch, and I just go down. I kind of put that there, but sometimes it goes underneath it, so I eyeball it mainly. I want to put the hole in the middle on the tag end top, and I want it about in the middle of the paper. So I punch my hole. Now this is what she was putting eyelets in. I put eyelets in the first ones I did, and then I stopped doing it because I thought, I don't really need to do that. So I'm cutting holes. I don't know if you can see that there is a little rim of plastic around the edge. It doesn't show up the best on the camera, but I think you can see it. There's just a little extra piece of plastic. It's not even 1/8 of an inch. It's less than that. Okay. Now these little ones that have the paper in them with the designs on, you could probably put those to the outside when you made your, when you put the other stuff on, because otherwise it's going to be covered up and it's not going to show. But it would show on the back if you put that to the back. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't buy a lot of digitals, but I did have those, and if I've got them from when I first started doing this, I use them. I have like a lot of the Tracy Fox labels and and that type of thing. I just print those over and over because you can, and then I don't have to buy, you know, like Tim Holtz ephemera and stuff like that. All right, getting the hole in here. Like I said, it's really, it seems like the plastic is strong enough that you don't really need to put that eyelet in there. I really don't think you do. Now, some of hers, she put a hole in the bottom as well, and then she hung a charm using a jump ring, and she used a lot of jump rings on hers. You're going to see me just using my bulb pins, but you could put, depending on where you want to put this, if you're going to put it on like a tag on the side, the bulb pin works fine. If you want it to lay flat, the bulb pin doesn't want to turn. So then you need to put a jump ring on it first and then put the bulb pin on it. Okay. So I have my little bulb pin here, and I'm going to, I've got things like this. Lace, pieces of fabric, little pieces of things. Now I put it together with whatever I want in the front on first. So I'm putting on right now a little bell. And let's see. You can put as many or as little things on here. This is a feather. Put a little piece of lace. And I'm just poking that on. And then you can put your little music card on. So see, I've got 4 things on here. And that would work as a dangle hanging off the side of a tag or something in your book. So you just get to play. Got a bunch more bulb pins here. I did kind of grab a few other things, like this one. I have a piece of trim, a piece of lace, a heart with a star on it. And like I said, if I'm going to use this one, I'm going to turn it over and put that to the back. That's the only one I forgot to darken the back of it. But that way, if you see it from this side, you're seeing this stuff, and then from this side, you'd see that picture. This one I put like a little gear, a piece of lace, a piece of sari, and then I'm putting on the little tag. Again, from the back you see the tag. The front is kind of covered up with this other stuff that you put on it. And it's fun because now, you know, you've got all this different stuff. Here's one that I put a Christmas tree on. I've got a bell, a Christmas tree, a little piece of white lace, and a piece of red sari. In the back you see the tag. And you see it from the front, but you just don't see it as well as when you turn it over and look at the back, because there's nothing on there. Unless you decide to put something on there. And you could put just a little bit on the front and put more on the back underneath. But whatever you want on the top is where you have to start. Okay, here's one that I put a little piece of flower, and there's a piece of lace, and I think I'll put a piece of this green and gold sari on there. And then I'll put the little tag on. This one that had a picture on the back instead of music. And they all turn out really cute. Really, really cute. This one I have a charm, a little piece of kind of pink and blue, this one is. Trim, a little lace, and I'm going to just put it on the tag. So that's all you have to do. And like I said, if you want the tag to have stuff on the back, like if I want this to show on the front, maybe I'd put a little bell on here. And then the tag, so that's going to be more on top. And then I'd put the fabric or the lace behind it. And here, I'll just put a little bit of this. This is some kind of a yarny type thing. I got it at a thrift store. I get a bag and it'll have all the ends of these yarn things in it. So I'd probably cut that off. So that one, you'd see this from the back and you'd see this from the front. The little mushroom. And I did put the bell on. You wouldn't need that even. But that, so you can just play and do it whatever way you want. Here's one that I had this dangle stuff, and I just put a drop of glue right at the top, because if you cut it apart, the thread that goes down and puts the beads on and then comes back and goes to the next one, that'll undo. So I put a drop of art glitter glue on every one of those on the back before I cut them apart. And the flower is a trim, so there's a couple pieces of trim on the tag. You see that from the back. I was kind of putting things together. This one has, like, it looks like measuring tape on it. I'll put that one with that mushroom. So you see that on the other side. A couple more. It's a piece of sari, a piece of lace, and a gear charm. And there you go. Back, front. I'm just, you know, I'm going to have so many of these when I'm finished. Well, I'll already have 100, and I'm only going to be using two of the pages of the plastic, and I'm going to have over, 100 things. Let's see. This is some kind of yarn that has fringe on it. It was from the fad a few years ago when they were all making those scarves. I think I want a charm. Okay, here is a circle. I'm going to put this, make sure I catch through where it's not going to come undone. Again, there you go. So you can put anything on there you want, and it'll look good. And from the back you see the tag. So really, that's all there is. Here's another one with a dangly. I have a little bell, the dangle part, a little ace, and a little sari. It's kind of a pinkish color sari hanging down from there. And on the back you have the tag. Well, that is it. I'm going to keep going. I've got all this stuff out I can use. I've got a whole bunch of these already. What do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and I had 6 of them done, so I did 12 in just a few minutes. Have lots more to go. I have more to cut out. I have more to bond in between the plastic. I have all this good stuff. I've got tons of it. I've got charms, lots of charms. Some for using green. I'll put more for nature. Some might be more for Christmas when I get finished. And, but that's what you do. You just get out stuff and you start putting it together. And I think they're adorable. So thanks for being with me today. If you're a regular subscriber, thanks for coming back. If you're new, I hope you will subscribe. And this can be all of yours. Thanks for being with me. Love you guys. This is Carol from Friendly Quail. Bye.